to give you credit, Mr. Philp, because you keep coming on, and now you're coming on when there has been, look, it's frankly an embarrassing U-turn. You have gone ahead with something that the Prime Minister said she was not going to go ahead with yesterday. You've decided to cancel this policy. Whose idea was it to cut the 45 pence rate in the first place?
Good morning, Susanna. Well, as the Prime Minister said yesterday, obviously the Chancellor takes decisions on tax, but these are collectively supported by the whole government. I think what we've seen today is a government that has listened. As your clip played from the Chancellor just a minute or two ago said, we have listened to the public, we've listened to members of Parliament, and although there is a strong economic case for removing the top rate of tax for reasons of international competitiveness, you know, to make sure that people choose to come to the UK rather than go to other countries. Clearly, public opinion didn't support the measure, and frankly, nor did parliamentary opinion.
OK.
So we've listened to that and we've responded by removing it from the measure.
Okay.
Because, although it's important to stress, it is only about 5% of the growth plan. The other 95% is going ahead, and that will see taxes cut for everybody, for 30 million families, rich and poor alike. And it'll be worth about, those tax cuts, the remaining ones, are worth about £430 to the average household, whether they're rich or poor, and we're proceeding with all of that.
Just obviously, as we both know, you only pay tax if you earn over £12,570 a year, which many pensioners and those on benefits don't. So many poor people don't pay tax, so they won't get tax cuts. The former administration promised that benefits would be uprated in line with inflation next year. Can you tell us, will you be uprating benefits in line with inflation? As you're now no longer making this tax cut, hopefully that will help you fund an increase in benefits for many of the most vulnerable people who are facing terrible inflationary pressures right now.
Well, let me take each point in turn. You firstly made a point about tax for people on lower incomes. And actually, Martin, you're right to draw attention to, and I'll come on to the benefit point second, you're right to draw attention to the fact that under this Conservative government, over the last 12 years, the threshold for national insurance and tax has gone up from about £6,500 originally, about 12 years ago, up to £12,570 today, thanks to this Conservative government. And what that means is, as you just pointed out, that people on lower incomes pay almost no national insurance and almost no income tax to start with. And that is a really good thing, because people on low incomes should be the burden of tax should be the lightest on their shoulders. And I'm sort of glad you drew attention to that and acknowledged it. You then asked the second question about welfare payments. Now, there's a statutory process, a legal process, which we go through, the government goes through every year. It's led by the DWP Secretary. It happens as a matter of routine every autumn. That will obviously happen this autumn in the normal way. And when the Welfare Secretary has made, obviously in consultation with other colleagues in government, has made a decision, it'll get announced to Parliament in the normal way. I'm not going to preempt that by making any sort of commitment one way or the other. It's up to that process just to carry on as normal.
Chief Secretary, I just need to be slightly clear something up here. You have just, understandably, talked about the last 12 years of Conservative government and its increase in the personal allowance and the national insurance threshold. The last one was done by the former Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, who was also said that benefits would be uprated in line with inflation. So are you a continuous administration, in which case benefits should be uprated in line with inflation, and it has already been announced? Or are you a new administration, in which case why are you claiming the benefits of the past government? So this isn't a new process. To stop pushing it on, we have had an announcement from the government, the elected government, that the benefits would be uprated in line with inflation. All I'm asking you is there now a change of policy that may not happen? That would be the change. Not announcing that it would happen is the change.
OK, well, so the threshold increases that I mentioned have happened already. They have been increased, and that is on the statute books, and it is active right now.
Of course, we know that.
The comment you made referred to by Rishi... Yeah, well, there is a distinction between that and Rishi Sunak announcing what his intention might have been, or was, had he remained as Chancellor. Obviously, there is a new administration and there is a legal process to go through where the DWP Secretary and other ministers look at the situation and make a decision. And that process is, is going to happen in the normal way. So that's unfolding. I can't really say anything more than that.
I'll do a quick aside away from the politics. Many people, as we're talking universal credit and benefits, are waiting for the second instalment of the benefits cost of living payment. All I can get when I ask members of your department at DWP is it will be made in autumn. Can you tell me when autumn is?
I'm afraid I can't give you, obviously I'm in the Treasury, not DWP, who are administering the scheme. I can't give you a precise date, but if you'd like, I'd be very happy to find out and we can maybe get in touch sort of separately, and I'd be happy to try and give you or find an exact answer, but I can't tell you precisely now. I mean, obviously it will be the autumn. It is a generous package. It, as you know, amounts to £1,200 a year in total for people on the lower one-third of income. So it really is doing a lot to help people on lower incomes at this very difficult time. But I'd be very happy to be in touch with you sort of separately to give an exact date, because I can't tell you the exact date now.
I'm supportive of that, and I would very much appreciate you getting in touch with me with the exact date, because many people are asking about it, and I will help get it out there. Yep. One more thing, and you may not have seen this, so I'm going to read it slowly for you. The Treasury, which obviously is your department, put out a tweet the other day. We'll bring it up on screen now. It says £12,700 in new tax and energy savings. It's a big image. Hopefully we've got the image we can show you. It says a typical first-time buyer in London moving into a representative terraced house will save £11,250 on stamp duty and £1,050 on the household energy bills. And if they earn £30,000, almost an additional £400 on tax. That is around £12,700 in total. Now, on my calculations, to save £11,250 on stamp duty, you have to be buying a house as a first-time buyer of £500,000 or more. The cheapest variable rate mortgage, but actually let's go for fixed. The cheapest fixed rate mortgage on a £500,000 property with a 10% deposit leaves you with payments of £2,400 a month, which is £28,000 a year. But your example is for somebody who earns £30,000 a year. Clearly, they would not get that mortgage, and clearly on £30,000 a year before tax, you cannot pay a mortgage of £28,000 a year. This seems fundamentally irresponsible for the Treasury to be putting out this kind of statement in the middle of a cost of living crisis. I'm guessing you don't know about it, but what do you think of your own department putting out those types of messages?
Well, you're right, I haven't seen it, and I'm afraid I can't see it on the screen because there's no screen where I'm standing here in Birmingham. But I imagine when they use the £30,000, I'm just sort of speculating, but I think when they used the £30,000 figure to work out the tax saving, they were doing that to illustrate the income tax saving of someone on approximately median earnings. You are right to point out that somebody on that particular level of earnings would be unlikely to be able to get a mortgage to fund a £500,000 house, unless, of course, they were doing so with a partner. But I suspect that's why they did it. Hello?
It doesn't mention a partner's income, and the headline includes all the savings added in one with a big, bold headline. What would be great, Minister, could I ask you to talk to your department to get... I hear you're off air. I will speak to you. We've seem to have lost the connection. I will be asking the Chief Secretary later to make sure that the Treasury removes all that type of messaging and starts to investigate what's going on. I'll put in details to him afterwards. It's a shame we lost him at the end of that.
Is he there? Is it like one of those mobile phone conversations you no longer want to have, and you go, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
To be fair, he fronted up today.
No, he did.
When the Chancellor, who has been appearing elsewhere, has chosen not to come on the programme. It's sad the day I'm on. I would have liked to have seen the Chancellor.
No, here's Chris Philp's back.
Can you hear me?
Can.
I can. I'm sorry. I don't know how far I got before it cut out.
We could hear you, but thank you very much for persevering with us. We really appreciate it. What I would ask you to do, can I ask you to look at those messages? These are big, bold messages the Treasury is being taken out, to have them taken offline in the middle of a cost of living crisis where they give people false hope. I will happily submit it to you and submit the workings. But can I ask you personally to take a look at that? It seems irresponsible at the moment.
Thanks. I was just saying that I think the £30,000... Oh, I've got a horrible echo here. I think the £30,000 figure was just illustrating a median income. Of course, you're right, Martin, to say that on £30,000 you wouldn't be able to get a mortgage to cover a £500,000 house, although if you were with a partner, that might become a bit more possible. So I think that's probably why they chose the figure. But you're right to point out the anomaly between the salary and the house value, and I'll be happy to take a look at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have to leave it there, not least because it sounds like it's pretty uncomfortable for you. In terms of listening, Chris Philp, thank you very much indeed.
I've got a bit of an echo, but we can manage, don't worry.
Yeah, all right, thanks very much indeed.